Yeah, it's Don, the director of fun. I'm just out and about this evening. It's a little dark out. Just had some things that came across that I thought we'd like to chat about, right? I know I would. What do you think about, I don't know, self-confidence, egotistical, and repelling? Yeah, repelling. Well, I got some interesting thoughts, and I got a great story a couple of stories to tell you. Stand by. We're going to get to it right away. All right, well, I'm back, and man, I got a couple of cool things to chat about. I think you'll find rather interesting. Let me tell you a story. When I was about, give or take a little bit, about 14 years of age, I loved to go hiking and camping in the mountains. And I was with the scouts at that time, and we had a pretty wild scoutmaster now. He was a Marine, and he loved the outdoors. So when we went backpacking, we would take the trails and stuff. We'd take off for 3 or 4 days, and we'd get out and about, and we'd do our thing. Well, one summer we was out doing our thing and doing the hike and getting all over the place, and we came down to a stretch in the trail that was supposed to be nice, and it had overgrown with briar patch. So, if you don't know what briar patch is and you're not familiar with the cartoon, you got to check it out. Now, briar patch is thorny, and they don't just break. And let me tell you, they make rosebush thorns look like wimps. No comparison. And they've got great big limbs that we were trying to walk on with our backpacks, and they didn't always support us, so we would fall through. By the time we got down about a half a mile through this, all of us had shredded clothes, bleeding all over the place. But we had our battle scars, right? We knew what we could do. We toughed it out. We made it. Then, that afternoon, what did we run into? The trail coming down the mountain had been completely rock slided and wiped out. Who'd we run into? Luckily, we ran into the U.S. Forest Rangers that were up there working on the trail and getting things taken care of. This opened up a brand new experience because we could not get down safely from where we were at. So the Rangers, they taught us how to rappel. Now, at that time, this was my first rappel. This is where the rope went over the shoulder, came down around and underneath your leg and out to the side so that you could pull it to stop as you're going down. It would tighten up against your back and your leg. Now, what does that mean for you? That means that you're going this way and you're going down the mountain. You got a rope on there that's coming up that way, and you are holding on down here, and if you start going too fast or you slip, you just pull that thing behind you and you stop. And that's how we went down about 200 feet. That was cool. That was my first experience with rappelling. Now, it wasn't straight down a cliff that time, but it was really, really cool because I figured out I could do something new. I could do something challenging. And I had heard of rappelling, but man, I'd never been a part of it. So later on, I decided I had this fear of heights, and I was not going to let this fear control me. And so I started doing rappelling and mountain climbing, rock climbing, all over the place. In fact, one time I took, we had a youth group that went camping in southern Utah up in Antimony, and there were shale rocks up there, if you're familiar with the area. And so I climbed with 2 other guys up to the top of this one area that we technically shouldn't have been climbing. I had about 50 feet of rope at best, 30 to 50 feet, and so I would climb up, and then I'd drop the rope and I'd bring these 2 guys up with me. And then I'd go a little farther, I'd drop the rope, I'd bring these 2 guys up with me. And Made it to the top barely. We're not sure why we didn't collapse, but I got some great pictures. Well, I thought they were great pictures. The parents of my friends, however, they did not think they were great pictures. But it built a lot of self-confidence in my ability to go out and do things that I didn't think I had the ability to do. Later on, at about age 19, 19? Yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah, let me get rid of that. I joined the Army. And when I joined the Army, guess what one of the things you got to do in basic training for my particular MOS was a combat engineer. We'll talk about that later. But I got to do repelling. So we go up on these great big towers, and now these ones go straight down. There is nothing, you know, you can walk it or you can jump it. And drill sergeants like, you have your choice, whichever you want to do. I'm like, oh, I'm jumping. So I got off to the side. I figured come back down this way, and I went. 2 hits all the way down. Self-confidence. It taught me that I could go out and do something regardless of my fear, as long as I was willing to learn, figure out what was needed, practice it quickly sometimes, put it into play. Now, let me ask you a difference, because sometimes some people will say, well, that guy's just egotistical or arrogant, or, you know, some phrase along those words. You ever wondered about that? 'Cause I will tell you, sometimes self-confident people, they do get a little bit arrogant. They do get a little bit egotistical. Got to remember to try not to show that all the time. But it's a reality, because in your head, you know you can go do something. You can overcome. See, it's not about being afraid. It's not about the fear. It's about having courage to override, to overcome that fear, and how to make it a reality. That's what the difference is. And a lot of people, they don't take the time to learn that in a lot of areas. But what if you didn't learn it in business? Wow, what would happen then? What if you didn't learn it in dating? What if you didn't learn it in financial education to be able to take care of things once you started making money? See, self-confidence is a game player, a piece of the game that's right near the top of everything. Yes, you got to have self-development. Yes, you got to learn the skills and skill up. Absolutely. But if you don't develop the self-confidence to put all that into play, if you don't develop the self-confidence to exercise what you've learned, to go possibly against what everybody else thinks is right and what's best for you because you know you've got it here, what are you giving up? And that requires self-confidence. Without it, you can't get anywhere. You got to have the drive, the internal fortitude, the internal strength to overcome the fear, whether it's getting on a camera, whether it's repelling, whether it's jumping out of an airplane, a few other fun things we'll talk about down the road. Well, self-confidence is not something you get overnight. It's practiced, it's developed, and in most cases, you won't realize you've got it till you need it, if you're doing the right things to develop it. Meaning, not just business, guys, but whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, step out of your comfort zone. Not going to be easy sometimes. Be willing to take on new tasks, duties, or obligations or challenges that you've never done before. Don't shy away from it. Wow, just imagine what you could do if you just jumped, if you just went, if you just got on it. Somebody dear to me, I'm not going to mention their name. This person lived all their life, had some really, really good ideas. Had some ideas that later transpired into reality on store shelves and stuff from somebody else. Because this person didn't have that self-confidence that they had the value to find somebody and make those things a reality. You ever had that happen to you? You ever had that happen to somebody you know? I kind of hope you never have it happen to you. Actually, I really hope you don't. See, the goal in life is to be all that you can be, to accomplish all that you can accomplish. Not about greed, it's not about wealth in that kind of terms. But it is about taking the stress out of your life, and that can be done. It is about changing your environment, especially if you come from bad circumstances, and that can be done. I watch stories about it all the time. People who at 19 left their country and started over again and then moved to another country a few years later trying to figure it out and get it going. Do you think that took some guts? Do you think they developed some self-confidence? 22-year-olds that are making more now in 2 weeks than they used to make on an annual basis. You think that took some self-confidence? People who have gotten in a position to go out and change things in schools or in business or in government or all kinds of different things. Do you think that took some self-confidence? Do you think they all just naturally had it? Now, I'm going to tell you, some folks do. But most folks don't. Most folks learn it. Most folks develop it. And those who get really good at it, they do so regardless of what stands in their way. Now, does that mean they're successful at everything they go out and do? No. Yeah, not a chance. But if they do have the self-confidence to know that if something goes wrong, they can learn from it, figure it out, and then keep on going. How about you? You think that's going to make a difference for you? I hope so. Because my thought today is simply this. Overcome fear, use courage, develop self-confidence. So, and by the way, put that into practice, so that at the end of the days of your active life, you can look back on your life and look at the memories you created, look at the people you inspired and changed, and most important, look back and say, I'm glad I did, instead of saying, I wished I would have. Self-confidence, folks, it's a game changer. Not just in business, in your love life, in your financial life, in your family life, in your dining life. That's because I like steak. You name it, self-confidence will change everything. Don't miss out on all the opportunities this awesome life has to offer because you weren't willing to go develop it. I hope that gets to somebody. I hope you like this. I hope you will share it. Pass it on, see if it makes a difference for somebody. I would love, really love, I love to have comments posted below. You might be seeing this on Facebook, you might be seeing it on my blog, you might be seeing it on YouTube, but please, leave some comments. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you think. Does this make sense to you? Share it, like it. If you're seeing it on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. If you're seeing it on my blog, make sure you follow me. Hey, life is about having what you want if you're willing to go after it. Now, just real quick, you'll notice I ain't no spring chicken, as they like to say. So you can wait till my age and figure it out, or you can do it now. Well, for you guys that are health nuts, I am not the healthiest eater out there, and it's dessert time. So, y'all have a good one. Look forward to seeing your remarks. This is Don, the Director of Fun. Build your self-confidence. Do yourself the favor. Because once you get it down, you'll never know how many other people you'll be able to help do the same. Y'all have a good night.